Welcome back. Bill Sundhu joining us on the show today. He's the NDP candidate for the Kamloops Thompson Caribou in this fall's upcoming federal elections. Great to have you here.
Great to be here.
Yeah, this is your first go on the Midday show, I think.
Yes, you've interviewed me before, but I haven't had the pleasure of being here at the noon hour.
On the news side of things back
That's
in the day.
right.
Good. Well, welcome to the show. It's a great thing what you're doing. You're running under the NDP banner. Tell us a little bit about why you decided to go forth and do this.
Well, I'm very concerned, and I've heard from a great many men, women, and young people that the sacrifices of previous generations to build a country based on fairness and equality of opportunities in peril. We have a growing inequality, an unraveling of our sense of community and shared Canadian values. And we have a cynicism around politics and a contempt of Parliament. People are disillusioned with our institutions. And so, you know, I'm very fortunate and blessed to have been raised and grow up in Canada when there was greater opportunity and social mobility. And I've talked to a great many people and felt that it was my responsibility to step forward. It's kind of a calling to fight for the issues that I think are very important to keep a society based on fairness, where we're our brother and sister's keeper, and that Canada moves forward, because we seem to be stagnating and dividing ourselves into us and them, and diminishment of our form of governance. So there's a great many issues, and I'm happy to be in the race. There's things that I care very much about. So for our seniors, our healthcare system, our fundamental freedoms, our security, a new deal for young people, a clean and sustainable environment, and an economy that provides good jobs and a fair economy.
How do you stand apart from the other candidates?
Well, I personally, you know, I come from a background of immigrant parents. I grew up with very challenged and difficult circumstances, but I got a step ahead because that was possible in Canada. And so I don't forget where I come from. The other thing is I've spent my entire legal career solving problems for people. That's what I do, the most intimate, serious, sometimes devastating type problems for people. And that's what I would hope to do as a parliamentarian, to advocate for our communities and our people. And so it's a natural fit.
One of the big conservative issues that's making a lot of controversy right now, Bill C-51, the anti-terrorism bill.
Yes.
I know that you were in Vancouver not too long ago, requested to be there by Tom Mulcair and another candidate somewhere in the Lower Mainland, and you guys had some discussions around this. You spoke to media, I believe.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, so the other candidate is former Judge Carol Baird-Ellen. We're both former judges. So we bring our legal experience, and for the last number of years, I have worked extensively in my international human rights work that I followed from my master's degree at Oxford in counterterrorism. And I also am an executive member of the Canadian Bar Association National Criminal Section. And so I helped write or contributed to Bill C-51 response. And it's a very troubling bill. It's dangerously vague, it's overly broad, it's excessive. Now, we know that terrorism is a real concern, and a fundamental responsibility of any government is the security of its citizens. But we have a lot of tools at our disposal, and this one is dangerous because it goes so far and is so intrusive into our civil rights. It's open for abuse. We've also had two previous anti-terrorism acts, so in 2001 and 2012, so there's lots of law. What we need is boots on the ground and better funding for our security agencies and the RCMP. This is a seriously flawed bill.
Okay. For the people that live in our region, what do you think are the things that are missing that you would focus on if you had the opportunity?
It's the same issue that affects all Canadians: good jobs and fair economy. Families are living from paycheck to paycheck. Incomes have stagnated. Working families, middle class is struggling. People struggle with things like daycare, so we have a $15 a day universal child program, affordable daycare. We need to restore funding to health care because we're looking at $36 billion cuts under the Harper government. A living wage, we said we would bring in a $15 an hour minimum wage, graduated over 4 years. Democratic reform, we will bring in proportional representation because we think that will give more voice and impact to the individual vote and the choice of Canadians that would make Parliament really reflect the actual vote, because the current government has something like 39% of the vote in the last election, 54% of the seats, and 100% of the power. Those are just some of the issues. And I'm also particularly concerned about young people, because this younger generation, our millennials, are having a very hard time getting their foot in the door. They may well be the first generation in Canadian history to not be as well off as their parents' generation. So we have to leave a better future for our young people, for our children and our grandchildren, that we inherited.
Mm-hmm. We only have about 30 seconds left, but I thought I'd end with this. I don't want to catch you off guard, but tell us something about Bill Sundhu that most people wouldn't know.
Well, I've been an avid backpacker. I still do it through Asia and Europe, adventure travel. I'm an avid Habs and Lions fan. Wherever I am in the world, I get up in the middle of the night to watch the games online. And I also, when I was in my university days, was somewhat of a punker and a new waver.
Really?
And I used to do a radio show, yeah. and I love poetry.
Awesome. I like that. Those are some great responses. You never know what people are doing in their pastimes, so it's cool to know a little more about you. And you travel still.
And I do. Yeah.
But right now you won't be, because you're working as a lawyer. You're also doing this full time. I suspect the next 10 or 12 months are going to be very busy ones for you.
Very busy, but I'm going to still tend to my garden. I also do gardening. That's my peace and relaxation.
Good for you. Bill, what a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you for being here today.
My pleasure.
All right.
Thank you.
Information is on the screen if you would like to learn more about Bill Sundhu running for the NDP in the fall election. We will be back in 2 minutes. Stay with us.